The safety is off. There's a round in the chamber. This is Armed Alabama. Sponsored by McCoy Outdoor Company, Mobile's hometown full-line outdoor sporting products and gear store. An interactive talk show discussing self-defense, product reviews, shooting tips, safety, and more. Your calls, comments, and texts welcome at 343-0106. Now, here are your hosts, retired judge and certified NRA instructor Rusty Johnston and certified NRA law enforcement instructor Adam Strange.
Where the city lights don't shine, I live my life the simple way, and you know I'm doing just fine. I fish, I hunt, and I shoot my guns, and I raise a little hell. The things I do, you know I do them well. This is my
All right, welcome to the Armed Alabama Show. This is Judge Rusty Johnston, retired Alabama Circuit Court judge, NRA firearms instructor in 3 different fields, former director of the 13th Judicial Circuit Court Police for a decade, and a member of the Alabama Bar for 33 years. I've got the con tonight as my co-host Adam Strange is taking care of some business. You know, Armed Alabama is Alabama's only FM-based firearms radio talk show. We talk about pistols, revolvers, shotguns, concealed carry, ammunition, self-defense training, and attacks on our God-given right to protect ourselves and our family. With any luck, we are now broadcasting on Facebook Live. If you hadn't liked the page, if you like the page, you got a notice. If you haven't liked the page yet, like it. So you'll get a notice, but if you haven't, in your search box there, put in Armed Alabama Radio, FM Talk 1065, and it'll take you to the right Facebook page, and it may look like a still video before it started playing. Just click that, and you'll be disappointed to see what we all look like. And Charlie Moss is under the weather, and Phil Bush has the con here also. Now, on this program, you'll get no PC, no Marxism, no progressivism, and some topics, I have to warn you, may not be suitable for the delicate flowers out there. So sit back, have another sip of Early Times or iced tea, whichever you prefer, and we have a show for you. And I found out Early Times is still manufactured. I couldn't believe it. I thought we were going to dig up a time capsule. We're going to tell you a little bit what the left is doing to take away your gun rights. We're also going to go into what you can do with your heating and air conditioning system to preserve it and also to maintain it during maybe a time of crisis, like a hurricane's coming. And everybody dies, you know, when the power goes out for an hour and they don't have their electricity to run their air conditioning or heating. That's a real terrible time with us. Remember, our number here, either for a text or a phone call, is 251-343-0106. That's the studios of FM Talk 1065, Mobile's #1 news talk channel. Now, you need to check out our new website. That was done by Thomas McKee, because for one reason, if you enter our contest, and that's by giving us your email address. There's nothing nefarious about that. We're going to start sending out a monthly newsletter. We have prizes worth probably about $2,500. And if Facebook can see it, one of our prizes right here is a carbine or rifle or shotgun rack that you should put, well, anywhere where you need a rifle or shotgun for self-defense. This goes on the bottom. You mount this lower part at the proper height. This goes in your wall, and it keeps it secure. And assuming you don't have any children, well, some people have children, but are 60-year-old children. But assuming you don't have young children, you keep it in the places that you most need it. Don't lock all your guns up in a safe and keep one next to your bed when you spend 12 hours a day on the weekends or 18 hours watching football. I mean, that's a recipe for danger. I want to thank the rest of our sponsors here. Our main sponsor, McCoy Outdoor Company, the best sporting goods store around, and we like local businesses. We like to keep that local business in Mobile. They're at the Spring Hill Plaza, which is at 3998 Spring Hill Avenue in Mobile, 36608. And they're open Monday through Saturday, 9 to 6. You can see them on the web at McCoy Outdoor CO, McCoy Outdoor Company. That's abbreviated co.com. And on Facebook, McCoy Outdoor Company. And if you have any kind of muscular skeletal problem, go see Dr. Justin Foster at Foster's Chiropractic with Tillman's Corner, one of our original sponsors. We really appreciate that. He is at 4400 Rangeline Road, Suite B in Mobile. And you can get him at 251-661-2100 or on the net, Foster Chiro, CHIRO.net, or on Facebook, Foster Chiropractic of Tillman's Corner. And a gentleman I'm going to introduce you to in a minute from Hanson's Heating and Air. And they are out on Rangeline Road also. And they also have an office on the Eastern Shore. And you can visit them on the web at Hanson, www.hansonair.com, and that's HANSEN, air.com, or on Facebook, Hanson Heating and Air. And our friends at the Ace Hardware stores in Spring Hill Village Shopping Center at 4364 Old Shell Road in Mobile, or on Moffett Road at 7380 Moffett Road, or, of course, the Creola Ace Hardware and Lumber at US 43 in Creola, and that is 3 miles north after you exit I-65, and they're open 8 to 5 every day but Sunday, I believe. They may be open Sunday. Check them out at CreolaAce.com. And get a Mike Ward's Liberty Safe. They're under the big sign that has a Mike Ward Liberty Safe on it at I-65 and Moffett Road. And their showroom hours are Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and Saturday, 9:30 to 4:30. You can see them at www.mwliberty.com or on Facebook, Mike Ward Liberty Safes. And finally, the law office of Matt Green at 501 Government Street, Mobile. And you can call him at 434-8500 or see him at www.mattgreen.lawyer. Or on Facebook, Matt Green. And finally, our crime report, Naaman's Catering, 2961 Dolphin Island Parkway, 473-3900, or on the web at naamanscatering.com. See them for all your catering needs. Don't do all that cooking for any kind of holiday party. That will literally kill you. It'll cause you to have marital strife with your spouse. I've gone through that before. You just don't want to do that. It's better to spend the money, charge it, whatever you have to do. It's better to even get close to going into bankruptcy, run the bill up, but see Naaman's Catering. They do a much better job than you can. And I'm going to post this on the Facebook site. We have a couple of bills, as you know, in the Senate and House. One of them, which is H.R. 3947, has 175 co-sponsors. That's one of the bills to outlaw so-called bump fire stocks, but doesn't even mention bump fire stocks. So so-called bipartisan bill. And, of course, the usual suspects are on there, one being Emmanuel Cleaver. He is the brother of Black Panther terrorist Eldridge Cleaver. He's the one that made the famous statement, all you're going to do is make the black kids angry if you close down the parks at night. So he's a great co-sponsor, but there are plenty of so-called pro-gun Republicans on here. Listen, if you have a gun question or questions about heating, air, prepping, anything like that, give us a call, 251-343-0106 here at FM Talk 1065. Look at us on Facebook. FM Talk Armed Alabama Radio, FM Talk 106.5, and you can also hear us online by going to our website, www.armedalabama.com /radio-show, or the station's website, which is fmtalk1065.com. You can hear us on one of those media, or if you missed the show, hear us on our podcast on our website, which is really looking good. Thomas McKee has really got that looking sharp. We got all of our past shows lined up there in order with a little bit about them on the subject matter. So, Mr. Producer, we're about ready to step into a break. Let's go for it. We'll be back in about 3 minutes with more of Armed Alabama.
Step up to the firing line. Armed Alabama is back. Questions, comments, and texts at 343-0106.
You smell that? Ain't fun, son. Nothing else in the world smells like that. I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
It smells like victory. Yes, that is from, oh gosh, what's the name of the movie? It is from, give it to me quick. Apocalypse Now, Robert Duvall. I want to mention, before we get going here with our guest, the Friends of the NRA is having their annual dinner, and they have so many prizes, unbelievable, but it is on December 9th, and let's see, tickets are, well, first of all, they're having a raffle for a gun, and that is $5 each, or a sheet of 8 for $20, and the drawing is December 9th at 3 o'clock at the Field and Stream store. And for more information, please call 251-463-0976. Now, this is just the raffle because the dinner is a little later in the year, as I recall. Maybe we'll text into the show and tell me when the dinner is, because maybe I'm totally confused. I think it's a little later. But anyway, this is a neat raffle. It is tickets, again, $5 each, or a sheet of 8 for $20. And this is for the Friends of the NRA. Don't worry, it didn't go to Al LaPierre. This goes to buy, let's say, bullet-resistant jackets for area police. It goes for children's programs. It's a completely separate organization, but it is an affiliate of the National Rifle Association. If you're interested in buying these, which I need to do it tomorrow, or for my wife, she's the gambler, call 251-463-0976, and we will post that on both our Facebook page and our website. And Thomas, if you're hearing me and got all that down, post it on the website. All right, we have with us from one of our sponsors at Hanson Heating and Air, we have Mr. Daryl Richburg. And Daryl, what do you do down at, I know you work, but I guess what is your title down at Hanson Heating?
I'm one of the service technicians.
And I tell you, you guys, I was telling you when you came in earlier, y'all work harder than any trade I know of in Mobile, because you know, when it's July 4th and your air conditioning goes down, I used to be a fool, and, well, you know, this is an emergency. I wouldn't dream of calling some technician out today. I'll wait till Monday. And then that lasted until I got to be about 27, and then that was over with. So, but, and for some people, it really is a health emergency.
Oh, yes.
They've got certain conditions. I'm not sure what they are, but yeah. I know they're medical
Some
conditions.
are bedridden, and they, you know, to move them to another location is a big ordeal.
Yeah.
An ambulance is involved, those type
You
things.
could kill them doing that, I guess. You could probably kill them moving them to another location.
Correct. So we carry a good variety of parts on our trucks so that we can get out there, and normally we have the parts on our truck. If not, we have contact numbers. We can pull people in on emergency situations to open up for us.
And y'all don't mind being caught. I mean, y'all are set up for 24/7 work.
That is correct.
Right, as well as normal maintenance and that type thing. And I found that the normal maintenance helps out a lot.
Oh, yes.
Just, well, number one, you can start by changing your own filters, but in your experience, how many people really do that?
Changing their filter?
Yeah.
Or the maintenance?
Well, changing the filters.
Some people do better maintenance than they do filters.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
But filters, you go through runs. Sometimes, people are all over it and some are not. One of the biggest things is what type filter you use. Because there's a lot of things that are floating around in the air that fiberglass blown filters, that they catch the bigger particles. But the things that are in the air that make you sick and make your house, get contaminated, which means a dirty house. Basically, your air's dirty. Not that you're physically dirty. You're shit that you're breathing, stagnated
Dust
air.
Especially.
So that is correct.
When I was a kid, of course, I told you we had gas air conditioning and gas heat. We had gas everything, and the filters in that there were some kind of claw things that you vacuumed.
Right.
They were just massive, and then this water tower outside that spun around. That thing lasted for a little over 30 years and finally died. And I think everybody at the gas company was glad that it died. But one thing I had to ask you that we experience, so many people lose their air conditioning system, especially by thunderstorms or power surges and all in the summer. What is best to do when you see, on TV, line of severe thunderstorms coming and you can see it? Should you shut it down or just say la vie, just let it run?
The best thing to do is to shut it down, because if the power runs in the house, whatever's running, it tends to try to go to the ground through it more than just through the circuitry. The thermostats have timers in them most of the time nowadays that will delay, because the worst thing on an air conditioner system is for the short cycle to go off and come on within a 3 to 5 minute time limit. Anything below 3 minutes puts a strain on the compressor, and so a lot of times they don't even restart after that. They keep trying, and you don't know this is happening, other than your lights are dimming every so often.
Yeah.
Where it's struggling.
Yeah, I've kind of, maybe it was 1 hour, I was someplace where you could kind of see it.
Yeah, but the
dim down a little bit.
But anytime there's a storm coming, which is pretty regular around here, if you're at home, I suggest shutting it off. If you're out and your family's gone a lot, I suggest buying a Wi-Fi thermostat, and that's where you can, wherever you're at, you can monitor your system. You can offset it to save energy and that kind of thing. It's real energy efficient, and it's an easy app that you pick up on your phone. And
wow, I didn't know there was such a thing.
Oh, yes. Yes.
I saw something on y'all's website.
Lots of rental properties use them.
Yeah. I saw something on y'all's website about, of course, air conditioners and heaters lower humidity, but did you have some extra plug-in that did something about lowering humidity?
Yeah, we have separate dehumidifiers that you can buy. Yes, sir.
Because for all you gun people, humidity is the enemy of both guns and ammunition. If you had a decent humidity, you could keep ammunition forever. And, of course, there's really no natural cool, dry place in Mobile that would keep your medicine and your guns and your ammo. It just doesn't exist. But does that connect in with, it's not the kind you plug in,
No, it goes into the duct system itself if it's a separate dehumidifier. Higher SEER rating units, which is your seasonal energy efficiency rating, those higher SEER units come with that capability built into the thermostat and into the controls of the fan and the outdoor unit.
Yeah.
So that you can set a humidity level and maintain that range within 3-4% inside your home. If you don't have higher grade systems like that, and you need a more critical monitored dehumidification, you definitely have to buy a separate unit that goes in the duct. So it uses the same air in the house, but it just goes in the duct system and circulates it around through, which is a dehumidifier is a smaller type air conditioning system with a colder coil surface for dehumidification.
And that's, folks, when you have just a regular air conditioning system, that's usually the PVC pipe that you see running outside your house that's running like a hose almost in the summer. But that's getting all the humidity, which makes you feel cooler. And it's obviously it's good for everything in your house to keep that humidity down.
Yes.
But if you've ever been up north in the winter where the humidity is really low, then you get static electricity, shocks you get bloody noses.
Sinuses.
Oh, it's just terrible. I was in Buffalo, New York in January one time, and my nose bled for 2 weeks and I didn't realize it was the humidity was just so low because they're just blasting in the heat and there's just no humidity in that. Now y'all fool with both straight electric
heat pumps, electric heat, as well as gas heat. I suggest any type heating and cooling system has to be maintained and has to be checked by a licensed contractor. The reason why is, especially in electrical, you have connections, and some of these connections, they're great from the factory, but you have aluminum to copper connections. Aluminum expands and contracts. That movement can make a bad connection, make wires burn in two, which will trip a breaker or unit won't work, or it can cause lower voltage being applied to the parts that need it, and that can cause it to burn up indoor motors and such, and you don't want that.
And just the humidity outside starts things rusting and everything.
That's correct.
Now, I'm hitting you with a question off the top. How do we know that you don't have a bunch of criminals casing out our houses when you come in and change filters or fix the air conditioner?
Well, we don't.
Well, good criminals don't have records. But I assume that you do basic checks just to make sure they don't have records.
Yes, sir.
Like I say, the expert criminals don't have records. They're so good.
Yeah, we go through all of our employees like that, and then all of ours are dressed with uniforms, driving company trucks, and you get a phone call while they're on the way, either from the office or from the tech or from the install group, letting you know that we're the guys about to pull up. And you can call our office and verify that for safety at any time.
Mr. Producer, where are we? You don't have your little car. The local cable company, I won't mention the name, I thought it was some of my probationers were at the house banging on the door when my daughter was there alone. I could not believe it. They were in T-shirts, dreadlocks. I mean, it was unbelievable. I sent them away, and it was really bad. But that's how it goes. I just think to be a professional company, you just need to look professional to start. You need to be able to do the work, but you can't look like cutthroats. So, all right, I don't know your signals now, Phil. You don't have your little cards. Are we ready? All right, we're going to step into a break, folks. Now, don't hesitate to call us on any matter, even related to defending your home. We got everything covered here. Daryl is expert marksman, so he can handle any of your questions. So we'll be right back with more of Armed Alabama.
This program is a production of Armed Alabama, LLC. The comments and views of the hosts are those of Armed Alabama, LLC, for which it is solely responsible. The view and comments of the callers, guests, and texters do not necessarily represent the views of the sponsors or advertisers of Armed Alabama, LLC, or of Armed Alabama, LLC, Bigler Broadcasting, LLC, FM Talk 1065, or WAVH. No comments from Judge Rusty Johnston should be taken as legal advice, but as educational information. Judge Johnston is not engaged in the practice of law and should not be sought out to answer legal questions off the air. Seek legal advice from a qualified attorney who knows the complete specifics of your legal matter.
Step up to the firing line. Armed Alabama is back. Questions, comments, and texts at 343-0106.
What we've got here is failure to communicate. Some men you just can't reach. So you get what we had here last week, which is the way he wants it. Well, he gets it. And I don't like it
any more than you, man. That is our new Commissioner of Corrections, and he will be taking office January 1st, thanks to Kay Ivey, our new governor. Thank you, Governor Ivey. I think he will do a great job with that little blackjack out there. And Daryl, looks like we got one of our favorites, LD the Mad Trucker. Let's see what he has to add. Hey, LD.
Hey, guys. How y'all doing?
Pretty good. You on the road? You're here in town?
Headed north right now.
Oh, boy. The great northern wasteland. Watch out.
Yep. I'll be back tomorrow.
Good.
Anyway, but it'll be in the morning sometime. Look, our windows on our house sweat during the winter. Do I need a humidifier or do I need new windows?
I would have those windows checked.
A dehumidifier.
Yes, normally you've got some kind of leaking or air infiltration there. Normally around that's where you're getting that sweat from.
Now,
Alrighty.
help a dummy here. Are they sweating on the inside or the outside?
On the inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, large volumes of water, just cheap windows, huh?
Yeah, there should be an insulation or air barrier between the glass. It's like an unseen insulation that keeps that from happening. If you're, or there could be cracks somewhere that you can't see, and you've lost that pressure. So,
okay.
If the house settles, sometimes those windows will go bad, and you won't know it until that type stuff.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
They're double pane windows.
I lost
you know, against all advice, because we don't really live in that cold weather, I still put double pane windows in because I had the old metal casements. Half of them were broken; they wouldn't close. Now, number one, I can't hear birds anymore, but I can't hear barking dogs anymore. And you know what? It made the house feel a lot better, just tighter, and it was a real good improvement.
Well, infiltration, that's where the outside air comes in. It's always better to waste good air from the inside out by adding fresh air to your return versus if we've got any kind of pressure outside and you're opening your doors or there's cracks around windows, electrical outlets that are on the external walls. A lot of times air comes down through the attic, down through the wall, down through that, lots of things like that. But it's better to have clean air leave the building that you've paid to clean than to have all that bad air come in that you're trying to dehumidify, filter it, and then try to maintain a nice power bill.
Yeah, and so many people are allergic to, all kind of dust, pollen, everything, and it's to have it blowing in. Yeah,
right.
I mean, and a lot of people don't know they're allergic to it, and you just, several times a year, you just got this hacking
We've
cough.
got an air purification system that we sell that we put inside duct systems on the supply side.
And so that goes on the main air
system.
return.
That is correct.
Oh, that's great. So you don't have to lock yourself in one room.
No, it kills every time. When the unit's not on and it's even on because it's generating ionization inside the system. That's helping create good air in the house that will attack bad air. Bad air, it's got mold and microbes and stuff in the air that's just bad for you to breathe. It causes you to get sick.
Yeah.
It kills bacteria, particulates, smoke in the air. A sneeze. If someone sneezes in your house with this type of ionization and UV lighting, it will, within 3 feet, kill all the germs that comes out of that sneeze.
And what do they say? Normally, a sneeze goes 15, 20 feet. You see.
Yes.
And it's the exact. In other words, that's what airplanes need. But don't have because they're.
Well, these are used in hotels, restaurants, cruise lines, all types of large volumes of people to keep a building from having a stagnated building or a dead building inside. The air
you can smell it too when you go in.
When we put these purifiers in, that ionization starts working within 3 days. You are already seeing the results on how well it breathes and how well it smells. I put one in on the beach the other day. About a 25-year-old beach house, and we couldn't change the ductwork. It was in between the floors and stuff, but it had some mildew issues from lack of maintenance, and the side coil was dirty.
Well, the mildew's the new boogeyman, and I'm not saying it isn't. It's there, and you're going to have to deal with it.
Yep.
And
the mildew will feed the mold.
Yeah, right.
Once that mold gets started, you're in trouble.
Yeah, and you got it all over, and you got to either rip it out or paint it over encapsulate it with. Whatever that paint is, it smells so bad.
These will take old systems with old problems and old things you can't get to, and it cleans the air and what's in the duct.
Oh, that's great. Because, there are a lot of old houses here in Mobile that have had air conditioning, for 75 years.
Oh, yeah.
And there's no telling what's crawling around up in there. I had, when I moved in, my house was about 50 years old, and I had the ducts cleaned a year or two. It looked like the inside of an intestine, really. How it's. I would say it was inch deep all around, and it just was ripply. I really should have taken pictures of it. It was really nasty looking, but it was something, something to see. And I tell you what, it smelled a lot better. after that was done because it was really gross until that time came. And I hope our Facebook people, now I hope y'all are hearing us on Facebook, because our operators have left the building or done something. And, unless people monitor that almost continuously, something always happens. It just never fails. Something always happens. And I'm having computer problems and phone problems because my phone just downloaded a bunch of stuff on it that I didn't want nor need, and always take pictures of the guests. So act like, Daryl, go ahead and tell us something else so I can take the picture.
Appreciate it. I would like to talk about gas furnaces in your home.
Do that, because I'm a gas person. I was raised there.
Well, gas furnaces, you have a few items or things in there that has to be maintained and checked out. You have burners, you have flames, you have vent pipe, you have roof jack assemblies, you have combustion air, which is the air that gives your gas the 100% oxygen it needs to burn clear. And you've seen a pretty blue flame before. That's because it's getting 100% of the air that it needs to do that. If you have leaks between your return
air, you got to make sure that carbon dioxide gets the heck out of there.
Yeah, I suggest even a brand new gas furnaces, you have carbon monoxide detectors, because metal goes bad. I mean, it's after all the inspections and everything, there's always a flaw that can happen somewhere, and without that protection, carbon monoxide is odorless and colorless, and you'll be sick before you know it.
Well,
and that's another thing that's important
about $25-$30 now.
Yeah.
They used to be really expensive.
They're not bad. And that's another thing about systems is the return airs being sealed from the combustion air. If you do not do that, when your filter gets dirty, underneath the platform draws a higher suction pressure, and it will pull. If your platform's not sealed, it can pull carbon monoxide back into the return and actually feed that into your house. Even small amounts of it can make you sick.
Wow. Okay, looks like we might have a caller. AC question from Chad. Hey, Chad.
Hey, good evening, guys. How are you?
Pretty good. What's up?
I got an AC question, maybe, or heater question. I don't know which.
Yeah.
I had a new unit installed a few years ago. Brand new system, AC, heater, new ductwork, everything. Since having it installed, I seem to have an issue with mildew or mold, either one, I don't know, developing on some of the returns in my house that I never had an issue with before.
Is it the returns or the supply registers?
Or it's where the vents, the output vents.
Yeah, that's supply register. Yes, sir. I would check the return air. The newer systems from older days, we have to add square feet of return to match them now. Years ago, it was about a square foot per ton. Now it's almost 2 square feet per ton of refrigeration.
So he needs a bigger return register?
Too small a return will make too cold of air coming out and can make it sweat. Also, if the grills between the sheetrock and the ceiling are not sealed, then you're getting cold air coming out your vent. Then you're getting attic air leaking around the sheetrock and what we call the box, which is mounted in the attic, and that's going to cause that grill to sweat. You'll get corner sweat spots around there and things like that. A lot of times you can either take the grill off and put a gasket there, which is like weather stripping, or the best way is to go into the attic with a can of spray foam and foam just around
insulate the heck out of it.
Yeah, right at the sheetrock and that insulated box to the rafter studs.
So it sounds like he could, in theory, add another return register somewhere and may take care of it.
Yeah, or increase the size of the ones he has.
Well, actually, there's 2 returns. There's 2 areas, for the return to suck in air. And I've never noticed any, condensation or sweating or anything on the vent.
Right.
Or anywhere around it.
Yeah, did you stay with the same size system or did you go any larger?
I think it's a little bit larger, if I remember correctly. Not much. I think it's.
The next thing, like I said, it would be the return size. Also check the supply side. Doesn't matter what size your water hose is. If you've got too much pressure trying to go through there at one time, if you want more volume, you got to have bigger size. So your duct size may need.
And make sure it's cleaned out too with old Clorox.
That is correct, and also make sure that we're not getting anything in from outside. Sometimes where your copper tubing and drain runs from outside to inside, those holes aren't sealed. Every time your unit comes on, you're pulling moisture or things from outside through the pipe.
Chad, those sounds.
right.
Try the cheap solutions first because those are cheap before you look at a dehumidifier or something like that. Got to run.
right.
We're up against the end of the show, so no, we got one more break. I don't have my thing, but Chad, thank you.
Chad.
Try those first because those I can tell you those are I've done those. Those are kind of cheap solutions before you get into something more difficult than that. We got to step into a break, folks. We'll be back. Remember the number 251-343-0106.
Step up to the firing line. Armed Alabama is back. Questions, comments, and texts at 343-0106.
Survival kit contents check. In them you'll find 145 caliber automatic, 2 boxes of ammunition, 4 days concentrated emergency rations, 1 drug issue containing antibiotics, morphine, vitamin pills, pep pills, sleeping pills, tranquilizer pills, 1 miniature combination Russian phrase book and Bible, $100 in rubles, $100 in gold, 9 packs of chewing gum, 1 issue of prophylactics, 3 lipsticks, 3 pair of nylon stockings.
Shoot, a fella could have a pretty good time in Vegas with all that stuff. Slim Whitman. All right. One thing I'm thinking to be really crass is you could disguise your safe room to look like some air conditioning room with the grates and all of that. And, you run and hide in that. Who in the world, and they hopefully home invaders, they're in prison right now. They're not, listening to the show. Who's going to look in there? You run in there and close your grates, and that's where you hide out. Because, our theory now is you don't know they got the jump on you, and they've done the intelligence. You don't know who it is, and don't get up out of a cold winter's nap and try to battle them in your house, because get your kids, get your wife into, a safe room can be something as simple as your bedroom door that's been fortified. Call the cops, but point that rifle at the door. Mm-hmm. And, if they come, fine. If they don't, then they don't. But all these crazy things you're mentioning, working on a church recently, and a lot of people are doing church security, which is great, but you got to think out of the box. I was thinking the other day after reading about this mosque in Egypt being attacked, how easy it would be for one terrorist working on the inside just to pull that fire alarm, and as everybody runs out, the other one on the outside is just blasting people. And, that would be so much safer for a terrorist to do that than to go inside the church, because you never know, what you're going to encounter. And I know I didn't give anybody any ideas, because nobody like that listens to this show. But you have to think out of the box like that. And I hate to say think like a criminal, because most of them are pretty stupid. Think like a really smart criminal. And there are a few of those, and we talked earlier, the good criminals don't have criminal records because they've never been caught. You don't even know a crime has taken place, actually. It was just, unfortunately, an old lady fell down the steps and broke her neck, but she was actually murdered. So, that's how things happen. But, Daryl, you were telling me y'all's main office is actually out on Rangeline Road. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah. So, in relation to, trying to think of something, well, let's say Foster's Chiropractic or the Lathan Companies, or trying to think of, tell me where you're close to. So
we're just south of the Lathan Company on the east side.
Okay.
Yeah, right off of Rabbit Creek Drive on the service road.
And I guess occasionally some people come and look at a unit. I've never done that.
Normally it's online, but we can provide that if they needed that.
Yeah.
But normally it's online. We got our website can get to all you need.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, that's great. And it's a great service for people. And remember that, on those, anytime, remember, get your service done right now. Don't wait till it's going down to 17 degrees, because you might have to wait a little while. But, get it done now so you know it works. Thing that always goes out in my gas furnace is all the little, I can't think of what it's called, where it sparks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Igniter.
Yeah, igniter. That's something you know is going to go out every
wear
few
and tear
years.
part. That's
and
correct.
just replace the darn thing. So don't wait till it's getting ready to be 17 degrees. Remember the old days when you didn't regularly keep antifreeze in your car, but everybody would wait till it was going into 17 to get that antifreeze.
Yes.
And there'd be a line a mile long to do that.
Same with gas furnaces. Don't find out there's a bird nest or a wasp nest in the end of the vent pipe.
Yeah.
At 10:30 at night. Turn that thing on in the afternoon. If you see it's going to get cold, turn that thing on and check it out. Get those odors. They smell funny when they've been sitting there a while. They get the dust off of them. Some set the smoke detectors off because you have real sensitive smoke detectors nowadays. You don't want that to go off at 1 o'clock in the night because it got cold. Burn it off at 3 in the afternoon so you can sleep through the night and you won't have to worry about it.
And watch your fireplaces. Don't start a fireplace without opening the flue to the chimney.
Correct.
Because your whole house could fill with smoke, like mine did one time. I could hear the fire alarms going off progressively. So that's the way it goes.
And close those during the summertime so that we don't pull the outside air in and run it through the air conditioner.
Well, that's right.
Yeah.
That's
Some people
right. So
open it and never forget to close it back.
You just got to do that maintenance all the time.
Correct.
It's just something to think about. But Hanson, we appreciate them. Hanson Heating and Air is our sponsors. We appreciate Daryl being with us. McCoy Outdoors, see them for all your sporting needs or for all your needs. They've got everything from ammo to guns to clothes, and you can put your hands on the guns. You got experts there. And if you get a strained back while you're lifting something, and assuming it's not something that you're paralyzed or whatever, go see Dr. Foster, and he can check you out and hopefully do something that won't involve narcotics or being put on the rack and stretched and that kind of thing. And Matt Green for all your legal needs. Remember, no representation is made that the quality of legal services performed by Mr. Green is better than the quality of legal services performed by other attorneys in this area. I think I got that right. And that's an old note. And check the website out. We'll have more information on Friends of the NRA. I want y'all to both buy the tickets and go to the event. The event is very fun. See like-minded people. And listen, the NRA has a lot of jerks at the top, I'll tell you that. But you need to be a member of it. I think it's $25 or $30 a year. So join it. Our Spring Hill Ace hardware stores in Spring Hill and Moffett Road and in Creola. And Mike Ward's Liberty Safe. If you ever have to evacuate your house, it's nice knowing that your Liberty Safe is there and can't really be hauled off. And Naaman's Catering, sponsor of our crime report. Check it out on our blog on www.armedalabama.com. And remember to register for our prizes because you've only got 10 days to do that. And there's some good stuff. We're not going to spam your email. You'll get a once-a-week newsletter about something interesting. And for everybody that registers initially, whether you win or not, I'm going to send you our report, 10 ways to defend yourself in your automobile while you're traveling. And you would be surprised some of the things that come up because, what would your wife do, for instance, if she saw a 4-year-old girl by the side of the road barefooted in the country saying, help, help, help? She'd pull over and help, not thinking her sex offender father is waiting behind the rock to lunge out and grab her. And they're just, you just got to think like that, unfortunately, because there's so many weirdos. The prison system just doesn't keep them. They keep them long enough to give them a uniform and baggy underwear, and that's about it. So, they won't even put them on a ball and chain anymore. But I tell you, when the guy gets there from Cool Hand Luke, he's going to take care of that pretty well. But, Mr. Producer, where are we? We're wrapping it up. Now, we will see you next week. Hopefully, Adam will be all right and Charlie. And check out our podcast on armedalabama.com. And we will see you same bat time, same back channel.